righty. I just want to say I like that quote that you said. Get off the treadmill of failure. That was a pretty good one. But
say that again.
The quote you said about get off the treadmill of failure.
Oh yeah, that is definitely something that it's kind of ironic, isn't it? We call it a system of corrections, but the longer we expose somebody to corrections, people learn how to live in a society of corrections, but it doesn't prepare them for living outside. That's what you and I are going to help change.
Well, I just think the main reason that people,
Hold on, you see what I got here?
Charlotte, yeah.
I got my Charlotte cup today.
I know the main reason that I guess that I continued to come back to jail and prisons was because this lifestyle is easy, you know, it's very easy to continue to do the same thing and continue to mess up, you know. And
can I ask how many times you've been in jail or prison?
I don't know, probably 6 or 7.
And how old are you?
26, about to be 27.
So how is it each time you've come back the result of a new criminal charge, or is it a violation of probation or something, or what is it?
New charge.
So 6 times. And what are you going to go home now?
I go home in a month. 1 month.
What's going to be different this time?
I have an action plan and I've, changed my way of thinking and my outlook on life.
What changed your way of thinking and your outlook on life this time?
The cognitive programs that I've been doing here.
Tell me about them.
Well, really, we did a class called mindfulness with another teacher, and it's just, it just helped me take a step back and look at myself and be able to, like I learned how to meditate. It just, helps me slow down and think about what I'm doing before I do it.
When you go home, how will you answer to a cynical employer who looks that you've been incarcerated 6 times before, and you're going to ask him for a job? How will you advocate for yourself?
By defining success and the way that.
Let's test that. Let's test you on that. How are you defining success?
Success, in my opinion, is the culmination of hard work, determination, and goodwill.
Hard work and goodwill. The story from Jerry Lundergan's book. That's awesome. That's part of the course, by the way. But let me give you a suggestion that you could work on during these next 30 days of your incarceration. Okay? You should write this out and be able to say it. A goal for you should be say, every day I'm going to develop. Have you ever heard of an elevator pitch?
Yeah, like 30 seconds or 60 seconds or something.
Or even call it 3 minutes. Make it 3 minutes. People will listen for 3 minutes to a compelling story. You should write your elevator pitch and use your accountability metric to get that done. To say, I need to have a 3-minute pitch that will help people see me differently. Then, like I'm going to put this in context of the Straight A Guide program that we're doing together. I'm going to define success. So success for me is going to say, I'm going to have my elevator pitch within 30 days. That's very specific, right? I'm going to define success. So if anybody asks me how I define success, I can say it in 3 minutes. That's a goal. That's a value. I'm going to define my success by being able to have that. Number 2, what are the goals, the very specific goals that I'm going to achieve that will help me get that tool? It's got to be specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-bound, right? I'm giving you the strategy based on what we've learned last week. I've defined success. I'm going to have my elevator pitch. I'm going to have a clear goal to do it, These are the goals that I'm going to do. I'm going to write out this week, I'm going to write out the pitch. So 3 minutes, maybe I can write out 300 words. That's about how many words it's going to take. And I can measure it. Look at the clock, read it. That's very specific. By the end of this week, I will have written it out. 300 words. This is my elevator pitch. I'm going to practice it 10 times. I'm going to have it perfected within a week. Very specific. It's measurable. It's action-oriented. It's realistic, and it's time-bound. In a week, I have it. Then you're going to document the strategy. Now I've got 3 weeks to memorize it. So in 3 weeks, you're going to say, I'm going to go forward with 100% commitment and attitude of practicing it every day until I can recite it at will. You're going to have an aspiration that says, if I've done this, if anybody asks me how I define success, I'm ready to nail it. Then you're going to say, it's action-oriented. I'm practicing every day. You're going to hold yourself accountable. Did you do it? You measure it. You write it down. And then we haven't learned the other 4 lessons, which we'll learn Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But you learn all this. But that becomes how you define success, Ryan. And I'm going to just do it in these last 2 minutes. I'm going to do one for you in like a couple of minutes, how easily it can be. So you ask me, how do you define success? Because an employer is going to ask you, how do you define success? Okay? He's going to ask you, what's different in your life? You've been in jail 6 times. What's different? And you say, I'm glad you asked me that question because before I had no direction in my life. I used to make a lot of bad decisions that put me in the crosshairs of trouble. And that was a combination of the friends I chose. It was a combination of my challenges with substance abuse. It was a culmination of me not really understanding how to define success. But I'm different now, and here's why. When I was in jail, I participated in these mindful exercises that really helped me get inside of myself and figure out, how did I get here? What did I do wrong? And how did those decisions result in what I became? And so then I participated in this other course that really helped me do something which I'm convinced is going to make me a very successful member of your employee team. Is you see, all of us as human beings, we go through struggle and we go through challenges, but many of us don't know how to break through. I've learned how to break through. And that's why I can be a great member of your team. What I've learned is that I've got to document success, and I did it by even practicing the story. In fact, here is an accountability tool that I created when I was in there to actually be able to answer this question. See how hard I had to work to do it? And then you show it to him. You're giving him a prop, just like I showed you. I gave you a prop, right? He looks at it. He flips through. Now he sees the work that you have done. And guess what happens? He stops looking at you as a guy who's just gone through jail and served time. And he starts looking at you as a man who became the CEO of his life. And that's who I want on my team. Because if you can figure that out while you're living in jail, you can be really valuable to me in my company. And that's a tool. So you create all of that, Ryan, and it's how you break the cycle. That's a way for you to define success, if it makes sense to you.
Yes,
maybe by Friday, when we meet on Friday, you can have this thing kind of ironed out, at least part of it, and we can do a little case study on how it's coming along. Does that sound like something you'd like to do?
Yeah, we can do that.
I'd like that very much, because I think it'll be really meaningful to you when you get out of here in 30 more days.